Welcome back to the channel where fandom is ageless. I'm your host, Kimberly, and with Alien Earth hitting streaming this week on Hulu, it felt like the right time to rank every Alien movie. So let's answer that distress beacon Mother brought to our attention and hope we don't meet a face hugger. Before I jump into the 9 films, if you like content like this, smash that subscribe button to wake up Hicks in the dropship, and let's get to ranking. Starting off with the most recent entry, Alien Romulus. Released in 2024, budget was rumored to be $80 million, and to date, it made approximately $351 million. After seeing the trailer, I couldn't wait to see this film and get back to the core fears of the Alien films. The facehuggers were terrifying, more so than previous entries. The closed quarters, dark cinematography, and eerie music all added layers to the fear that some of the other films on this list had strayed away from. It wasn't about what you could see, but what you couldn't. Now, while this film had some great scary moments and ambiance, it wasn't perfect. I'll bring it up later, but the black goo is not a thread of story I enjoy. It feels forced throughout several films so far. Add to that, the CGI is phenomenal in spots, like the facehuggers, but then off-putting at times, like Rook. Then there's the alien at the end, which was done before in Resurrection. This time it was done practically, which I was unaware of when Sheila and I recorded our podcast episode last year, but I still didn't like it. It looked like so what? And on top of that, it did something that was purely gross, and it felt like it was done just for gross's sake. The film wasn't perfect. And in spots, it was completely predictable and frustrating, but it laid the foundation that really gives hope for the future of resurrecting the Alien saga. So I would put this in A tier. Now, Alien 3, released in 1992, budget was $50 million, and to date, it has made approximately $160 million. The third installment had off-screen deaths that still irritate me, and an ending that felt off from the previous 2 entries. I could talk about this for hours, but I'm trying to keep this video to a reasonable length. Suffice it to say, it isn't a great entry. To me, the only thing the film did right was the expansion of the xenomorphs. A dog gets infected and the xenomorph takes on the traits of that host. Personally, it's the best aspect of the film and something that could add to the alien lore beyond the black goo. Between that and, frankly, some other worse entries on this list, I'm going to put this in C tier. Now we're going to move right along to Alien vs. Predator. It was released in 2004. Budget was $60 million, and to date, it has made approximately $177 million. It looked like a fun film, so I did drag Sheila to see this in theaters because I love the idea of Alien vs. Predator. Look, it added nothing to the lore, and it seemed to have some kind of story. Granted, it was thinner than one-ply toilet paper, but that's okay if you don't think about it too much. And frankly, it's not a bad watch on streaming because you can fast forward to the good bits. So I would put this on D tier. After that, we're going to Alien Resurrection. It was released in 1997. The budget was $75 million. To date, it's made approximately $161 million. Not perfect by any stretch. But for me, it had some interesting sequences, especially the underwater chase scene. Like Romulus, there was a hybrid human-alien at the end. Now, like I said in Alien 3, the xenomorphs usually take on the characteristics of the host. In all previous entries, we've seen the classic xenomorph regardless of the host. So the hybrid was odd and off-putting and weird, just like Romulus. It's an expansion of the lore that feels unnecessary, as every film has called the xenomorph the perfect being. If it is a perfect specimen, there's no need to change how it looks, just how it functions, how it hunts, maybe the traits it takes on in its host. But because this was a different expansion and they tried something new, and frankly, because of that underwater scene, I would put this in C tier. Moving to Alien Covenant, it was released in 2017. The budget was $97 million, and to date, it made approximately $241 million. It's better than Prometheus by leaps and bounds, but it expands on this black goo stuff. I get it. They do want to expand the alien lore, but for me, this just doesn't feel like a good way to do it. Alien 3 gave us a great way to expand the universe by what the facehugger infects. It's a fascinating way to expand the creatures, the hybrids, etc. The black goo just feels lazy and connects back to the engineers. Personally, I think we don't need to connect back to them. The scariest part of Alien was that we had no idea where it came from. Why do we need the goo? The eggs and facehuggers are terrifying and destructive enough. All that being said, it's still better than Prometheus, but I wouldn't rewatch it unless Sheila asked me to. So because of that, C tier. With 4 films left, let's get into Aliens, released in 1986. The budget was a little over $10 million, and to date, it has made approximately $131 million. The sequel builds upon the original film with a darker tone, more action, and a betrayal that ends with karma serving justice on an acidic platter. Not to mention everything Ripley goes through when she comes out of cryosleep is absolutely heartbreaking and immediately pulls you in. It leaves us with the knowledge that the creatures are still down there, and the fear that power-hungry corporations or billionaires in modern day would sacrifice as many people as necessary to gain access to a xenomorph they can control. And if one comes to Earth, we know it's game over, man. S tier. Next is Alien vs. Predator Requiem. It was released in 2007. Budget was slightly more than $10 million, and to date, it has made approximately $130 million. Besides it visually being actually dark and difficult to see any of the action, kind of like the battle with the White Walkers in Game of Thrones, there is no payoff. Even though there are some twists here and there, this film is just not good. It's a fun premise, but AVP just seems destined to sit in the bargain bin. It may be a guilty pleasure to watch when I'm bored, but really for me, this is a D tier. Next, we have Prometheus. It was released in 2012. The budget was $130 million, and to date, it has made approximately $403 million. This is the film where people don't understand they can run in a different direction if you're about to be squished by something rolling directly behind you. Look, it was marketed as this amazing entry into the Alien series, and yet we never see the classic xenomorph. It felt more philosophical study without answers to any questions or a glimmer of conclusion. As I mentioned earlier, the goo feels like a catch-all for a plot and a series where it was never really necessary to begin with. It wasn't scary, and being billed as an Alien film felt like a bait and switch. Regardless of that, there are worse films on this list. So, Prometheus, C tier. And finally, we have Alien, released in 1979. The budget was $11 million, and to date, it has made approximately $109 million. There's nothing like the original. It reminds me of Jaws, with the inability to see the creature and fearing it's around every corner. It's unsettling, and the beeping on the device with the xenomorph's proximity still haunts me, especially in Alien Isolation, the video game. Truthfully, this film and its sequel perfectly execute the fear, the facehuggers, everything about it. And in my opinion, the original film still ranks among the best films ever made. So that makes it an easy S tier. So that's my ranking of the Alien movies. What do you think of my list? Would you have ranked them any differently? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is Kimberly, the only member of Forever Fangirls in the studio, signing off.